All right, it's your boy Neighborhood Sal, and I'm here in Houston, Texas, and I'm here with Michael on the Blueprint Podcast.
Oh. Woo. There we go.
If I'm not in the mastermind, I don't meet Sal. That investment is already paid for itself just from the wisdom that came from the relationship.
Right.
You have to get in those environments where you're around those people who are actually doing what they say they can do.
Yeah.
If you want to progress, you have to invest, right? If you want to go to the next level, if you want to elevate, you got to have, develop relationships. You got to get the information. If you have somebody, a mentor, and they're at a place where you're trying to get, they can give you the game to help you get there. Those 90% of millionaires either created their wealth through real estate, or once they created wealth, they invested in real estate.
Yeah. I got this with no money down.
What?
Yeah.
No money down, just because there was so much equity in the property, and I actually shopped the lenders. Every single one gave me an offer, so I didn't even have to come to the table with anything.
If the wealthy people are doing it, my question is, why aren't you doing it?
All right, y'all. So like you said, we are here for the Blueprint Podcast. We left the studio. My client, Michael Buster here, is doing a fix and flip. We are in Acres Home. So we're going to go tour the property, look at some of the things he's doing to renovate this property. We're going to talk more investing knowledge. We got Sal here from Kansas. So he's going to put us on game on what he's doing out in Kansas, and then some moves he might be making here in Houston. So let's go ahead and tour the property.
All right,
Let's go. We already been making some moves. So foundation was bad right up here in the front, so they had to correct those piers there. New subfloor is already down. Drywall, my guys already done the prepping on the ceiling, finishing. Right here, we're actually gonna be bringing in a wall. Right now, this is a 3-1, but we're gonna be turning this into a 3-2.
Okay.
Just because based off what's going on in the area. So that's our master there. We're gonna throw a wall here. Boom, here goes the master bathroom on this side.
Okay.
We extended the kitchen out. This actually is gonna be entire living space. Full-blown remodel. So over here, new bathroom, new kitchen, all the rooms, everything is gonna be brand new.
Okay. Guys, so let's go check out this master bedroom you have back here. How'd you get this property?
Well, so my mentor here, we came across this property. Actually, my wife's grandmother hit us up. Mentor says all the time, reach out family and everything. There's always property in the family. Yeah. Nobody in the group chat, nobody wanted the property. So, I hit up my mentor. He said, man, Mike, check out how much it is. And, he started to give me the information. I said, oh man. He said, Mike, you need to scoop the property now. Okay. I was like, I never done this before. Boom, here's a contract. I take the contract, get it signed literally the next day.
Wow.
After it gets signed, then it starts to be a little turbulence.
Okay.
Some other people started to come in and try to outbid, but because it was under contract, we were already good.
Yeah.
So
Sal, what are the things, when he told you he had a property, what are the things that immediately start rolling in your head on how to help him with this property?
First thing, and this is what I teach people, first thing you find the property, then after you find the property, you got to kind of do the numbers to evaluate the property to know if it's a good deal.
Okay.
So once he told me the ARVs, he told me a house next door sold for, what did the house sell?
225.
So he told me a house sold for 225. So I gave him the formula of what we use. First we take the ARV, which everybody know that means after repair value. That means that, this is what the house is going to sell for fixed up.
Right.
And then what we do from there is we subtract 70%. We call that the 70% rule. Okay. And then we go in and do an estimate on the rehab. So once we did our numbers, and we seen that this was a hell of a deal. Yeah. This was a still of a deal, and I told him the max that you should offer. This was the max you should offer, but we don't start with the max. Okay. You know what I'm saying? We do an anchor offer, but he was able to get it even below that, man. I said, as soon as you, these numbers is great, first thing you want to do is secure the property with a contract. Okay. And then once you get that contract, you send that contract to the title company so they can start on the title. And we want to close on this quick because this is such a good deal that, once you get a good deal like this, you got to hurry up and close.
Get it closed. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this is the wall you're taking down. So we're on the other side. You're going to take this wall down.
So we're just going to open this up. We have an open concept to where you can still walk in. Yeah. Again, this in this area, this is really good because majority of these are 3-1. So we're actually bringing up the value by giving them a 3-2. And then also the one next door actually had a 3-2-2. So we were looking at, trying to be able to copy the same thing they were doing on the property that just sold.
Okay. All right. Well, let's keep walking around. You got a couple other areas you want to check out. While we're kind of walking around, maybe we got this other bedroom over here. What are the things that people should be looking at when they're doing a fix and flip? Like, we always tell people, like, don't overspend. You know what I mean? What are the like important pieces that they should be, paying attention to with the rehabs?
So here's the thing. I'm green. My mentor has got this. He's the one.
The mentor in the house.
But
the first thing I want to do and know is what's your exit strategy. Do you plan on keeping this, or do you plan on selling it and flipping it? Okay. So once you know your exit strategy, that's going to determine the type of rehab that you're going to do. Okay. So we'll ask you, like, what you plan on doing with this property?
Yeah. So based on what I can recoup, because it's such a good investment, this one's definitely a flip.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a flip. Now, the previous property, because this is not the first one that he's mentored me on. The other property that we've got on the southwest side of Houston, that one we're going in between flip or potentially a hold. Okay. So, but he advised me. He said, Mike, this one's definitely a flip. We also looked at the option of developing this property as well.
And that would be like, y'all tear it down and build something new on it.
Yes, because we noticed right up the street, it's literally like 8 houses up. There's a couple of duplexes that are up. But then, like you said, when we started looking at the numbers and the time frame involved, because this was such a good deal, man, the profit margin is real close.
Yeah, no doubt. And then on this particular property, I'll just kind of go through here. So the type of rehab, since he's going to sell this, I want to make everything look new. I wanted to make it look new, and all new flooring, like even this texture right here, which
this is new. So
the texture look good. The walls look good. Now, one thing I would do is, I noticed in that room and in this room, we only have like one outlet each room. So when it comes for inspection, they're going to require like outlets every 3 feet. But let's I kind of want to just kind of check it out, because I haven't been able to check it out. But on the rehab, we want to put most of our attention on the kitchen and the bathrooms. All right, bedrooms, it's just normal paint, smooth walls, nice sized closets. Bedrooms look good. Make sure everything is functioning right, your HVAC, your mechanicals. But I like what you did in here though, because you opened it up. Like it probably was a wall.
Yes, it was a wall here. Listen, remember I know you got so many mentees, so you were giving me the game on everything, and you're like, Mike, okay, you need to shorten this wall. Mike, we need to open all of this up and everything. In the kitchen, you're like, hey, our kitchen was condensed. So I just happen to be in a unique position, just based on the profession, to where he would just tell me, Mike, do this, and this. And I didn't have to get anybody to do it. I literally just followed his instructions exactly. Boom.
How about your profession? You mentioned that. What do you do?
Okay, so I happen to be an architectural designer. So I do new construction, pretty much anything in architecture as well. So it's literally, and it says even with that profession, we still need mentors. Right? Even then, I had a brother who's been doing it, and he had to guide me through this, because knowing all the steps of construction and everything else is one thing. I mean, I know that like the back of my hand, but then knowing what to do and what sells and everything is a totally different.
What kind of projects are you typically working on? You're working on like schools, like bigger projects, right?
I've done everything from schools, churches, airport work, high-end custom luxury builds, but those are all jobs you do within parameters. When you get into this market, it's not the same. You have to know what the market is. I'm literally going by drawings and specifications where I know what that is. This market, I mean, I would have come in here and tried to make this a Taj Mahal. And Sal was like, hey, nah, Mike, we just need big kitchen, extra bathroom. Everything looks good, looks new, and then you're in the right place. And that helps on the budgeting side too, as well.
Because I know a big mistake I know a lot of rehabbers make is they over-improve the property, right? And so they add things in that are going to help them with their sales price. And then they want to sell it higher because of the money they spent. And then at that point, you're getting into, now your house is sitting on the market. Now, since I'm your agent, now I'm in trouble trying to talk you down to the price that we can sell. And then just the deal gets kind of crazy, right? So being able to be front on the, be smart on the front end, I think is so important. Anything else you want to add? Now you got a chance to walk around and kind of see the property. Anything else you want to add, Sal?
I mean, I want to kind of touch on what you're saying too, because what I like to teach people is this is a business though. And a lot of times when they're new to the game, they get emotionally tied to the project and to the rehab. And then, like you said, they start dumping more money into the property than they can recoup. So what I want to do is kind of train people on like knowing where to put your dollars, where you can get a return on your investment versus just like emotionally, like you said, he probably would have came in here and overspent. But first thing, like I said, number one is to know your number. So we want to know what this could sell for. Right. So if you come in, if you bought it for, like you said, whatever you bought it for, and you only, and to make a profit, your budget is like 40,000, but now you want to go and do, you know, saying this, and that, that's going to make your budget 70, 80,000. Then, you know, the money you spend over, that's going to be the money you lose on your profit. So, you know, that's one thing I kind of want to touch on is don't get emotionally tied to your projects, but always come in with a business mind and know your numbers though. Know your numbers and stick to your numbers as close as possible.
And find a mentor that can help you navigate your numbers if you've never done it before.
And that was that was what made the relationship, because like he said, as a designer, you know, coming from that, you are emotionally attached to the job. You're like, man, because it's like my name is on this. So you look at it from a different standpoint, like, oh, I've got to have this, and this. And from the beginning, prime example, foundation. You know, I talked to Sal. I said, Sal, you know, I walked in. You can't see there was cracks in the ceiling here, cracks here. Now I did do foundation repair, but I was looking at repairing the whole foundation of the house. And then Sal was like, no, Mike, holler at the people. She gonna holler at the guys. They actually did the foundation report. Now, based on the city standards, when they came out, the engineer looked at what will pass the city standards, because every type of foundation will have some type of, you know, variance. And so he told me to repair the piers in the front of the house, and he said that'll pass. I mean, that alone saved me almost $12,000 because the guys had quoted me almost 20 for foundation repair.
So what did you get this house for? Are you comfortable saying it, going into numbers?
Is it?
Yeah. I like to always give numbers though, man.
55K.
So you got this house for 55K.
Yes.
Okay, so what's our ARV?
ARV is around 225.
Okay, so and then what's, you know, like kind of cost in terms of how much it's gonna cost you to finish the rehab?
Rehab, I'm at around 60.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm around 60, but being in the industry and knowing a lot of people, for me, I'm probably gonna be around 20.
Okay. Wow. Interesting.
Wow. Okay. I think that's something to touch on.
That's right there.
Okay.
That's something to touch on.
And so here's the deal. The reason being, you know, I do a whole bunch of properties. You acquire a bunch of materials over the lifetime of, you know, having to do a bunch of work, new construction, right? So when I looked at this project, I'm like, okay, I've got bathrooms, I got sinks, I got cabinets, I got countertops, all this stuff in storage. So essentially, all I'm paying these guys is the labor to get everything done. I've already got the windows for this, and you know, through relationships, you know, a lot of materials I have, I'm getting them for pennies on the dollar. So I'll be making my money on the other end on the draws too. So I don't know if that's, you know, most people don't see that, but that's another opportunity as well.
Okay, well, let's head back outside, look at the exterior, and see what we're gonna do out there.
All right,
while we're walking over there, so how did you guys meet? Because y'all are mentor, mentee. Like, how did y'all make the connection?
You want to? So, funny enough, we had him 500. Shout out to Marcus Barney. He actually
shout out to him 500, man. He got the 1% group, man, and we kind of connected at the 1%. I seen him. He said he was in Houston. Houston was a market that I was looking into getting in, and we started talking and chopping it up. And I just seen that his knowledge and his skill and experience was something aligned with what I'm doing, and also the next steps of what I'm looking into getting into, which is new construction, new development. So we just started chopping it up, and man, he's a very genuine guy. I mean, straightforward, honest. He knows his stuff. So from there, we just started chopping it up, you know, developing a relationship. We actually co-founded a business together as well.
Yes.
You know,
so what business is that? Can we get an exclusive?
So we got a consulting business, and yes, we are a part of lifetime members of the Tri-County Black Chamber of Commerce. So those are some moves that we making, just a little behind the scenes moves.
Like, sometimes you can't announce all
everything. Right.
You know what I'm saying? But y'all gonna see it. It's coming soon to Houston, Texas, man. And y'all gonna see, you know, the signs out, and everything else. Give us about, you know,
let's bring the camera around this way so y'all can see the exterior. And then I want to see if we can also try to get a shot over here if y'all can see the comp that we have. And this is the one next door that sold. When did this sell?
Literally August. So it was August of last year, but it wasn't even on the market for 30 days. 225.
So even with that being August, you know, prices are still appreciating.
Still
going up though. So you might,
All right, so let's look at this house. So what are we gonna do on the exterior here? What's gonna happen here to kind of make this like, you know, attractive to somebody from the exterior standpoint?
So exterior, all new windows.
Okay.
We're coming in with James Hardy fiber cement siding. Now colors, black roof, because we're getting a new roof.
Okay.
Black, gray, and white.
Okay.
Wood accents. Those are modern colors. That's also what, you know, what a lot of people are being attracted to now. On this wall, we're going to do a wood accent. Of course, this big thing goes away.
Okay.
Have, you know, prepare the concrete and everything else. The overall objective is to give it a modern, semi-contemporary modern look, which is, you know, and I'm a little, from the profession, I'm a little competitive, so it's gonna look better than it's gonna look better than that one. But hey, you know, just from the design side, I gotta make it look better than that. So a person that looks at this is like, wow, okay,
right, okay. So let's talk a little bit about your past, your history, because you kind of brought up multiple times, like you had this design background, and I think you have a very unique story. So why don't you kind of go into kind of your family legacy, and we'll talk a little bit about that here.
Okay, so I just, you know, my late father, you know, he actually happened to be one of the first minority architects here in the state of Texas, amongst that wave, you know. I actually had the opportunity, in which I'm blessed to have the opportunity to be mentored by him. Also, Ben McMillan, who was another one of the minority architects. When we partnered, I was mentored by him too. Then after my father passed, one of his colleagues, which was another of that minority wave, I was mentored by him as well. So over a 10-year span, I actually have blessed with the opportunity to be mentored by 3 black architects, which was amazing. But I didn't find out how rare black architects were until we were literally at the symposium with, shout out to, you know, Vanessa Cole. Another one, I think it was the hip hop architect, Michael Todd. He gave us some statistics, and he said, you know, a black architect is like a dinosaur. And we were like, huh? And he gave us the numbers. There was around 2,100 minority architects ever in the history of the United States. Around 1,700 men and 400 women. So with that statistic, it's like, we were like, whoa. And he's like, that's dead or alive. So it's like, it's harder to become a minority architect than it is to even get in the MBA.
That's crazy, man.
So so uncovering that, I'm like, wow. But it also goes back to us being able to partner with and transfer the knowledge too. Because that's key. And that's one of the things that's missing in our community is once the higher up you go, you're going to need professional services. Well, it's not us you're seeing. So once you're bringing all the 7 and 8 figures for development, you're not giving it to a black architect or a black contractor developer because they're not there, because they don't know that that's the highest level of real estate you can go into. So
Sal, talk about that a little bit, because obviously you are part of that next wave of, you know, high level developers, you know, investors, and I know you're also teaching people, right? So you're educating, you have your own products and community. So we're starting to see, I think it was probably around like the pandemic, we kind of started to see kind of this shift. I call it the Black Renaissance, in terms of everybody wanted to kind of start doing real estate investing, right? Everybody wanted to build a legacy through real estate. So, but what we saw was there was a lot of like posers, right? So big wave, bunch of people with coaching programs, courses, and then now it's kind of shaking out and people are realizing there was a lot of people that didn't know what they were talking about, right? So now that we're still trying to educate people, how do you balance, you know, going to people who actually know what they're talking about versus the people who look like they know what they're talking about? How do you tell the difference?
So just like when you look into a real estate project, you got to do your due diligence. Right? So anybody that you're looking to get mentored or coached by, you got to know, you got to see if they're doing exactly what they're saying or they're trying to teach. So you got to meet them in the field. You got to go to their projects. You know, that's I think rule number one, like, are they really in the field doing what they say they're doing? You know?
Which is that why you do content the way you do? Because I looked at your page, did some homework on you, man. I love the content. So I'm really able to like actually see it. You know what I mean? I don't got to take your word for it. I can just go on your page and like, I can see the work the man's doing. You know, right? You got your video guy here. Like, so is that kind of your strategy there?
You know, to be quite honest, I don't even create content. I just have a camera following me around, like showing like, you know, he following me around, me doing what I normally do. I do this every day, especially when like I'm back at home. Like, this is what I do. So you just put a camera on me and I'm just out doing what I do. You know what I'm saying? I don't create content. I'm not, you know, I'm not comfortable behind the camera. I'm not the guy that's gonna do all this. I'm just a grinder. I'm a hustler. I go in and just do what I do, man. And I am content. I don't create it.
I love it. I love it.
So good, bro. Okay, so you're out in Kansas, right?
Kansas City.
Kansas City. So talk about Kansas City. What's going on in real estate there? And, you know, are you going to be moving to Texas to do some development here? Can I talk about that?
Well, KC, I kind of carved out a niche. You know what I'm saying? From investing in the hood. You know, a lot of people 3-4 years ago, I told them I was going to invest in the hood, and you know, a lot of investors, they frowned on it. They turned their nose up to investing in the neighborhood. Okay. You know what I'm saying? They turned their nose up to like renting your properties out to Section 8 tenants. You know, they kind of looked down on that. So, but you know, I didn't let that discourage me or deter me though. So right now I carved out a niche to where, you know, we get properties at highly discounted pricing. Okay. And now that the values in these areas are shooting up, they're appreciating, you know, my net worth is going up as well with it. Okay. Not only are the properties and the values are appreciating, but the rental income is going up as well though, you know, 4 or 5 years. And it's crazy though, because, you know, 5-6 years ago, I was buying properties 20,000, 25,000. Now that I'm getting them appraised, and they appraised for 175, 185, 200,000. Yeah. You know, so, you know, sometimes you got to be a visionary, but to answer your question, the market is good in Kansas City. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's so good to where, you know, because in 2001, I was kind of traveling around. I went to Cleveland. Cleveland has a really good market. I was investing there. I went to Atlanta, you know, investing there. But something about Kansas City just keeps pulling me back there because.
And do you live in Kansas City?
I got a place in Kansas City. So, I mean, that's where I'm from. I got my house there. So, I mean, I'm all around though. So as far as to answer your question about Houston, Texas, once I find a market here, a niche here, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna do the same thing though. But you know, what I'm doing in Kansas City might not be the niche here. Like I'm saying the niche here is like new builds. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, duplexes, buying land and things of that nature. So you got to go to the market and kind of see what the market is showing you, seeing what the highest and best use in that particular market to where you can maximize your you know what I'm saying, maximize your profits. Okay, so you're able to get like cheaper property in Kansas City, Cleveland, and all these different markets, and so that's allowed you to have those profit margins, right? So now you come to Houston, obviously the market here is way different, and so you're looking for your next opportunity, which brings me to back to you, Mike, in terms of where your niche is, because everybody, you know, wants to live inside the loop in Houston, right? That's where all the hot market, everybody wants to be at. I think a lot of people are forgetting the suburbs, right, which are also booming. So I think that's your niche, right? So talk about that, and is that the move? So part of we not disclosing everything, but we can say we can tell you with what's going on outside of the city, outside of the loop, going down towards one of the major highways. Again, we don't want to give out the game for everything. The development it's crazy. And then one of the biggest things for that too is they are not as, number one, the permitting is totally different than it is within the city. Okay. I mean, outside of having your civil work done for your horizontals for your development, that's it. Yeah. You literally just need a septic permit. If you're putting a septic on the property, that's it. Yeah. So when you're looking at doing essentially a development where going through the city, you'd have to pull a permit for, you know, wastewater, and then permit for stormwater, and then permit to run utilities. All of the stuff is non-existent going outside the city. Okay. So those are components where there's some major opportunities. Okay. They're doing some major developments. It's been in a lot of newspapers and everything. What's going down, this area is becoming the next energy corridor, and I'm seeing it. I've seen it for the past 2 years. I've seen it go from trees, horizontals. Now they've got 2 or 3 subdivisions going up, and it's moving, and it's like, wow. Okay, gotcha. Okay, and so would you say in terms of kind of like for young investors, like what are some of the challenges they might, so it's not like it's a great opportunity, you know, going in suburbs. You know, sometimes you get into suburbs, you're looking at more rural communities, and sometimes those can be maybe more challenging to navigate. Have you noticed any of that, or has it been smooth sailing? No, you have to be, the further out you go, a lot of these start to be a lot of red tape, what we experience. So sometimes you have to go in with different faces as the front, and you're behind the scenes, even though you're leading it. It's just, you know, we just have to be honest. You know, sometimes they seeing us development, we know is at the highest level of real estate. And that's essentially, you know, that opportunity that's there. You have to have somebody else that can that can vouch for you in that market, because there is a network, and there is red tape, and there is a glass ceiling. I mean, we just have to be real. So I hope y'all are hearing kind of the undertone of what he's talking about. And so I think being able to build those relationships, I think is so key, and being strategic about how you build those relationships. I have another flip in Santa Fe, and so we've been very strategic with like working with like contractors in the area, working with people who can vouch for us, who can let our name be out there, right? So that once we're ready to sell it, we got people who are willing to kind of go to bat for
course. And so I think that's on the sales side and on the development side. And I think that's just a part of, I think that's a good practice for anybody who wants to be an investor. You got to get out there and show people your face. You know what I mean? You can't just be behind the keyboard. You really have to get out there, build collections, let people know who you are. So I think building a personal brand, to Sal's point, I think to me sounds like a genius move, right? Because somebody could build a relationship with you virtually over Instagram or over LinkedIn or over Facebook, so that you don't have to necessarily even be in the room, right? So that allows you to be there. So that's why content like this is so important, because you never know who's gonna watch this video, and you never know what y'all got coming up, who's gonna watch the video. I'm like, oh yeah, I like these guys, let's work with them, right? And so those are ways that you can use if you don't necessarily have a relationship in a certain area, or you are trying to go to a new market. Those are things that I would totally recommend that people do. Last couple questions for you guys. So y'all met in the mastermind, right?
Yep.
And this is a real high level mastermind. So you guys are 1%ers, right? In terms of the kind of people y'all are connecting with.
Right.
Would y'all recommend people make investments at that level, or you say like, hey, like kind of like, do courses or smaller programs and then work up, or like, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, I mean, if I go for it's 100%. If I'm not in the mastermind, I don't meet Sal.
Okay.
I mean, it's crazy. You have to be in. Just that investment is already paid for itself just from the wisdom that came from the relationship.
Right.
So you definitely, and you have to look at that, like you said, that's investing in yourself.
Right.
You have to get in those environments where you're around those people who are actually doing what they say they can do.
Yeah.
And so in those environments, you meet, not everybody in the environment has common interests, but you meet guys that you have common interests, you find your people, and the next thing you know, you build off of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I definitely just to add to that, like if you want to progress, you have to invest, right? If you want to go to the next level, if you want to elevate, you got to have, develop relationships. You got to get the information. So those high ticket masterminds, it's two benefits that I get from them: the relationships that I build, and also the information that I get. And then also, like in anything though, if you have somebody, a mentor, and they're at a place where you're trying to get, they can give you the game to help you get there though. So it's worth the investment, no doubt about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, any last words you guys got for the people? This has been so fun. Thank you y'all's transparency, and just putting us on game. I'm excited for this project, man. Like, what's your goal? Like, what are you looking forward to in terms of finishing this project?
Well, just like from a designer, you already see it. Yeah. So I've already drawn this out. I already know how it's gonna look at the end. It's just seeing it come to life, and then want the finished product. Most of us, we love to see the finished product.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just for me, I already know how it's gonna look. Going through the process, you love the process.
Yeah.
And then look, for me, it's love. Like I love to create. So being able to create something and to be able to say, okay, not only is this something that I'm flipping, but that's a creation of mine, and it came from here, which came from up here, from the Most High. So that's,
I love it.
That's the biggest component. That's why I love it.
And we're out in Acres Home. This is a developing area, right? I mean, y'all can kind of see there's, some houses that might need some other TLC, right? So like, what are your thoughts on this kind of neighborhood?
Well, it's our people. Like you said, that Sal's mentorship really helped me in the component of like, hey, I can go out and develop outside, but our people never get to see some of the best architectural feats. And so this is just a great opportunity. Show talent, and then give back.
Okay. Any last words?
I mean, I was reading a stat that says that 90% of millionaires either created their wealth through real estate, or once they created wealth, they invested in real estate. So if the wealthy people are doing it, my question is, why aren't you doing it? So one thing is, why you're not doing it is because you may have fear, you may have doubt, you may think that you need more money that you really don't need, and you have all the excuses. But like, eliminate the excuses and get out there and invest. And if you don't know how to, and if you don't have the answers, connect with somebody that can give you the answers, man, because not only will it benefit you, but it'll benefit your legacy and your kids and your kids' kids and everything else.
Man, so good.
And one more caveat, because we left out a big component. I got this with no money down.
What?
Yeah.
This was so no money down. So because there was so much equity in the property, and I actually shopped the lenders. Every single one gave me an offer, so I didn't even have to come to the table with anything. So like my mentor was, man, You can do it. And you find a good deal, you got somebody that's willing to invest in the deal.
Yeah.
Now I already knew what I had to do.
Yeah.
But they just looked at the actual value of the property and they're like, okay, yeah, they signed the papers and it was done just like that.
Man,
Closed to the table, didn't have to bring anything. I had to bring like $232 for some type of paperwork fee. That was it.
Yeah.
So think about it though. He had, and this is, I don't want to go too deep into it though. Like I said, one of the things I was talking about excuses is people make excuses because they don't have the money though. But it's not a lack of, the money. It's just a lack of having the information though. So a lot of times you think you need this type of capital to go and invest, but you don't.
Yeah.
So he's getting a property that he'll probably make 6 figures on. He came to the table with no money though, and that's all from information and relationships.
That's crazy, man.
Yes.
Man, proud of y'all. Man, thank y'all for watching the Blueprint Podcast. If you got any questions, drop it in the comments. We will definitely try to get you the information that you need, like the guy said. There's always opportunities to learn from Sal. He's got his own investment community, teaching people. You can also reach out to myself as well. I can connect you to people if you need help learning how to invest. When are we going to be finished with the property?
So we're slated, this is the second week in December.
Okay.
Is, as long as weather holds up and everything else, because last week kicked my butt because we were going to do siding in the roof.
Yeah.
And they gave us a delay, which is one of the things, obviously, you can't, uncontrollables, but next week, roof, siding, everything else, material's already there. It's just the guys finishing the work.
Okay, cool.
And it's
we'll be coming to the market mid to late December, so be on the lookout if you're looking for a turnkey property or your first time home buyer and want to get a property. Be on the lookout. See y'all next time.